This is an Ellis Mowers and More small engine repair. Stay connected on Instagram and Facebook at Ellis Mowers and More. Comments or questions? Leave them below or email me, ellis@ellismowers.com. Parts used in today's repair are found using the links in the description below. And as always, like and subscribe for more small engine content. On today's repair, we have this John Deere E140 lawn tractor here. I'm hoping that I don't have to put a new engine in it, but if I do, I've got one. So what I know about it, it's got 400 and some hours on it, and it's been leaking oil a lot, and then it's frozen up now. That's how I got it on trade. I don't know if, something has come about it where the engine is seized up, but the guy ended up, I guess, thought that the PTO clutch was locked up or something on it. That's obviously not the case. The best case scenario here is that the starter's locked up and we got to put a starter on it, and that's it. But I highly, highly doubt it considering the amount of oil. I'm about to show you all of that, and we're probably going to be going through an engine swap here. So let's see what we get ourselves into. This machine, I know it's a little dirty right now. I just want to see where all the oil is coming from first off. If we get the engine off, I'll take it up and wash the entire machine so that whenever we put the new engine on, we've got a nice, clean, clear base to put it on. So let's go ahead and get started. I'll give you a look around of this John Deere. All right, E140. I see a lot of these more so than like the older 48-inch cut models. They seem to be built a little bit better than the L, LA, and D series. We'll see what ends up happening longevity-wise on them. However, the longevity-wise of this engine, I think, is done. We'll see, though. We'll see. It's a 22 horsepower Briggs and Stratton V-twin. It's got, again, 466 hours on it, so it's got a decent amount of hours on it for what it is. 48-inch cut. Again, it's really, really dirty. Really dirty. And we'll get to washing it here in a little bit, but we're not having any paint issues on it, thankfully. I think this is like a 2018 model, if I were to, I think. Is it that new? Oh, it's a 19, actually, 191101, so a late 19. It's only 4 years old. Really sucks because I think this engine's bad. Hopefully it's not. We'll find out, though. What I'm going to do is take some 10 millimeters, take off all of the engine cover bolts here. I got to take 5/16 to get those off, and then I just have to take this air filter situation off as well. I think the V-twin I have in the shed in there is a 21 horse, so worst case we have to put that on, but I do my best to show you that it's just locked solid for some reason. Not sure why, and it's not because of the drive belt. It's something keeping this locked. Again, we could be lucky and it could just be a starter. We'll see, though. 5/16. Is there anything underneath here? You'll have a couple of 1/4 inches to take off. You have your 10 millimeters to take off all around the engine cover. You have 8, these may be 10s as well. All you got to do is disconnect the fuel pump from the engine cover, and you should be able to lift this engine cover right off. And then after that, we're going to find out if the starter's bad on it. And hopefully it is. And hopefully we're just throwing a starter on it and trying to figure out where the oil leaks were coming from. All right, I've taken off all those screws that I mentioned. We should be able to pull this off now. And hopefully we find a locked starter. Doubt it. Nope. Starter's fine. This is going to probably be an engine swap, guys. Unless we got really lucky and it just seized up. And let's see. Ugh. This mower, unfortunately, has not been treated very well, I don't think. I'm going to grab, I'm going to grab a breaker bar and see if I can
and pull the plugs here to see if I can. Well, it's an overhead valve, so I don't know if I can get into the cylinders that way, but the starter looks like it's in good shape, so it's not the starter, which means it's something locked inside the engine, which is, you know, not something that we want to see, but something that I expected in this situation. So, like I said, let me grab a breaker bar with a big nut. I think it's a 1 1/8, or like a 32 millimeter or something like that. See if we can get it to free up. So we're hitting something solid here whenever I do this. See it? And it's not. It's right there too. Let me double check to make sure it's nothing underneath the machine that's giving me any issues. Definitely nothing under the machine. What I'm going to do is take the heads off of this. Because it's just like I run into something right there. And I'm going to see if I might take the valve covers off first. The hood is just a few 10 millimeters over here. 2 10 millimeters right here and 2 right there to get off. So I'm going to do that first. Might as well do that while y'all are with me. Got a zip tie on that. Or is it a clip? I think it's just a clip. There we go. So valve cover wise, let's just see what's going on here. If there's any movement in the valves. I doubt it. Like I said, I have a feeling I gotta take this whole thing off here. Alright, let's just see. Do we have any valve movement here? Probably not. We do. At least on the exhaust valve on this side. So that's just crazy. Just stuck. Completely stuck right there. makes it easy to. I'm just gonna double check down here that we're not having any. Yeah, we're not having any areas that are binding up, so that's gonna be interesting to find out exactly what went wrong with this. Let me take the other side off and see, valve cover off and see how we are. I just remembered one thing. Before I start tearing heads and stuff off, it's going to be easier for me to take flywheel bolts off here. Knowing on the newer Briggs how the flywheel magnets can be sometimes, part of me thinks that it may be a magnet stuck. That actually wouldn't be a bad thing if that was the case. So what you have to do here is take off all this. Actually, it looks a little abnormal right there. I'll show you what I'm seeing. You see where the flywheel is kind of jacked over to one side here? And it could be hitting like stator terminals and whatnot. Because that's not a, that's to me is not a locked up engine. So if I can get this washer off. Oh, we do have a sheared flywheel key. So there's a flywheel key that's sheared. So that's interesting. I wonder if, like I said, I wonder if it threw a magnet or something. So what I'm going to do is get, y'all have seen me do this before. I'm going to throw some WD-40 down this right here. Shouldn't be too hard. Since the mower is only like 4 years old, I'm going to grab my puller set, get those bolts in, and we're just going to pop this flywheel off and see if the damage is up here on the top end. Like I said, hopefully that's all it is. I'm pretty sure that I have another flywheel off of another blown up Briggs and Stratton, as long as the keyways and stuff are the same. And we should just be able to pop it back on if that's the case. That'd be awesome if that was the case though. I'd be so relieved. And then I can figure out where the oil leak is coming from, which I'm pretty sure it's just this dipstick tube. Unless the block is cracked up top, but I think this thing's been used pretty hard, so hopefully it's, like I said, just something up here on the top end. So I've got the tool hooked up here, the puller. We're just gonna pull this off. Should just come right off, hopefully. There we are. Perfect. So, now, what do we find underneath? Well, we find no issues, from what I can tell. All the magnets are intact on the flywheel. The flywheel key sheared, which means that our issue is definitely inside of the machine. That's too bad. Yeah, definitely inside of the machine. That's too bad. Okay, well I'm going to keep on keeping on with this. I will let y'all know what I find. But what my next step is it's going to be involving, I'm just going to keep the flywheel off for now. Seeing what I can do in order to get all of this, or just to diagnose it before I take it off. Going to take off the carburetor, the heads, and all that good stuff. So what I think I might do is just put y'all on time lapse, let y'all watch everything that I do here, and see what we can discover when it comes to what happened to this thing. Well, guys, as soon as I pulled that head, I saw all I needed to see. And you'll get to see what y'all needed to see too. Is the depth of that working? So the piston is broke and cocked in the cylinder wall here. So this thing is done. Good news is, like I said, I have one, a V-twin. It's an older V-twin, but it should just pop right on here. If I have to do some wiring changes or things along those lines, then I will. I'm going to take off all the components of this, because ignition coils, stator, and all that stuff, so that we can have a good clean swap if we need to. I could even swap the tins and things along those lines over. The only difference is I think I might have to add a choke lever on this one, because this one has the automatic spring-loaded choke tied to the well, it's actually the thermistor set up on the exhaust, tied to everything as well. So, well, it's not tied to the exhaust, but just you pull it up to choke it, all on the same lever. So I'm going to keep on working on this. Y'all see me pull a bunch of engines before. I put y'all on time lapse enough to see that we had an issue right here, and that's all we needed to see. So I'm just going to take off a bunch of stuff. What I might do is show y'all the reassembly process. So when I get to the point of taking this off, I'll get back with y'all. So we're at the point of taking everything off. I do have, we've got one good exhaust gasket, so that's good. We have, well, kind of, some wiring that is inside here that we could pull through, hopefully. And once I do this, and I should be able to just pull it off, because it's just 4 bolts on the bottom. The PTO clutch was already off of this machine, and the I just had to pull the drive pulley portion of it off. So let's see what we can manage here. What is going on here? I wonder if it's that. Yeah. Let's see if we can pull it through. Yeah, we got it. Okay, so all the wiring, I believe, is off to where we can just pull this thing out. So let's do it. Oh, got one more hose here. Forgot that one little hose. I'm going to pull this just out. There we are. I don't know exactly the setup that we're going to have when we finish this. That's just a return valve to make the EP, or the exhaust gas return vent to make the EPA happy, basically. So we are we off? Are we off? We're not off. One more thing, the throttle cable. And we might have to take this governor setup as well. We'll see. I don't know, because like I said, I think it's a first gen V-twin. So there's been a lot of updates, and honestly probably a lot of cheapening out from this. So the engine that's going to go in this should be a much, much better engine. So let me go ahead and fish it out of the shed over there. I'll show you what we're putting in, and potentially all the changes that I'm going to have to do in order to get a new engine into this machine that's of an older generation of Briggs V-twin. So here's the new engine going on this. I used a little bit of Strikehold. I'm a part of their affiliate program if you need any cleaner or lubricant. sprayed a little bit on here, and you can see it kind of really softened up the rust inside the double stack pulley, and I was able to wiggle the double stack pulley off. So this does not even have an oil filter on it, which is fairly rare. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the exhaust bolts off here, probably spray a little bit of this on there as well, just so they come off nice and easy, hopefully. Last thing we need to do is break off an exhaust bolt in the head, but because we're going to use a different exhaust, I believe, on this. I think we'll use the John Deere one. Might see if I have another muffler in there, but that one's in really good shape as long as I've got exhaust gaskets. So that, and just got to figure out the whole linkage governor situation here, which I don't know if I can actually change everything out on this, like put the entire, let's see, it looks like that arm's a little bit different, but we'll see. We'll compare it once we get everything on here. But like I said, guys, this is the donor. Again, we've got the manual choke on this. I may just do the whole, might swap the entire intake off of this and put the newer intake on, and hopefully what that'll do is solve any issues that I might have with compatibility or whatever. It's just to kind of be a little bit of messing around, honestly. That's all we're going to be doing here. I'm going to make sure that the mounting bolts from that other engine work on this engine. And like I said, I'm pretty sure everything is good on this. It has, to my knowledge, it has compression. I'm not going to really know until I put it on and actually run it, but I can hear it and I can feel it, so that's good enough to at least mount. It ain't really much to mount onto these, so I'm gonna get it mounted, and then we'll go to town on swapping out what we need to swap, figuring out what we need to figure out here. So here's what I've done. I just literally just mocked this thing up just so I washed all the stuff here, which is gonna be a lot nicer in order to put everything back on. But I put everything again like this just to transport it. So like I said, this one doesn't have an oil filter on it. I think it's one of the early V-twins from like early 2000s, I want to say. 02, yeah. 02, 08, 01. So August 1st, 2002. What I would like to do is take all of this off and be able to retrofit the new covers and stuff to make it look like this. So what I'm going to try to do is, I might even swap the valve covers and stuff too. We'll see, because I think I want to do a valve adjustment and all that stuff on it, just so that everything is good on it for the new customer. Basically just have the block, because either way what I've got to do is I've got to get in, because this does not have the, this has the diode, and I need the voltage regulator stator for the 12 volt or for the PTO system. So it looks like somebody's messed with the wiring a little bit anyway. So I'm going to change over all of that, all the electrical and things along those lines, and which requires me to take off all of this as it is. So I'm going to go ahead and get to working on that, and got to take the exhaust off and a few other things. So what I might do, I've got a lot of time on the SD card. I might just post y'all up and just hit the record button and go to town, guys. Let's do it.
So I've got everything on basically that y'all saw, batteries hooked up, and I'm trying to crank it. It looks like I have to be on the seat. Actually, I don't. Sounds good, so that's good. Well, I'm just going to continue cruising on here, guys. What I'm going to do, y'all seen a good time lapse so far, so I'm not going to bore you with some more time lapses. But what I'm going to do is swap the intake off, swap this portion out, and hopefully the governor setup is the same on this as it is on the other one over there. And so I'm just basically going to revert everything back to original, what it looked like when it came on this mower. I'm going to put the ignition coils on and gap them to 10 thousandths. You can use a feeler gauge, or you can use a business card. I'm going to probably replace these valve covers and adjust the valves. Y'all see me do that a lot on the channel. Same thing with this side. We'll seal up them valve covers really good so that they're not going to leak on us. I did see where the top seal was seeping just a little bit, but nothing crazy. So the goal is to take this entire intake, swap everything over to the old, or to the setup that was originally on this machine, so that we can have all the vent pipes and stuff hooked up like we're supposed to. Y'all saw me swap the tins over here, so we've got that going. I'm going to change the spark plugs over to the ones that were on this machine, and a couple other things, and so we know that it at least starts on us, which is good. I just think the tractor that this was on was parked because of a bunch of other reasons, because it was basically in pieces otherwise from the engine being intact and hacked wiring and all that stuff. So I'm just going to go to town on this. When I get close to being done, I'll get back up with y'all and we'll give this thing a start. I think y'all have seen enough of a time lapse. I think I've explained everything that I'm going to do. And yeah, let's get to it. Well, I think we're at the point where I can at least try and start it here. I don't have the wiring hooked up to the ignition coils. I have the fuel line clamped off. I'm just going to spray a little bit of carb spray into the carburetor here just to make sure that it's going to fire off for us. And we'll see what happens, I suppose. I mean, every sign that I'm getting from this says that it's going to run okay, so we'll just give it a shot here. We got oil in it, so let's try. Wants to. Doesn't sound too bad. I don't know if one of the ignition coils has gone bad, but let's see. Let's do one more time just to see. I think we're going to have a good runner here, y'all. I'm going to continue working here, putting it together, and like I said, hopefully we'll be done here pretty soon and have what's going to turn out to be a pretty nice mower here with a V-twin that actually runs this time. Guys, I think it's time. Valves are adjusted, kill wires are hooked up, and all the other wiring harnesses. And I've taken the fuel line off. I do need to throw some gas in it. So let me toss some gas in it first. We'll crank it over, probably prime it up a little bit. Or we may just let it run gas in there and see if it'll run on its own. We should have enough gas for it to fire. Let's see what it does here. What do you think? Hopefully. Good. Got a lot of gas coming from somewhere. Oh. Trying to blow myself up here. That's crazy. Oh. The error of my ways. Let me put the clamp it back on with the pliers. Wow. That's a great way to light your garage on fire, ain't it? Alright. Good news is it was running pretty good. Let's do it again. I think it might just have a bunch of oil in the muffler or something, hopefully. It's running excellent though. It's running really good, which is awesome. It just seems like it is smoking a tiny bit, but again, this engine probably hasn't run in goodness knows how long, at least 3 years. And it's already running that good. I'll take it. Wow. My goal was to have this buttoned up today. I think we're going to hopefully be done. Worst case, we have to put some heads on it, but the thing runs like a top. So that's excellent. I've got to put the engine cover and everything back on it. Do a massive cleanup around here. I'll show y'all what it looks like whenever I'm doing an engine swap. It just turns into a colossal mess. So I'll put everything back on, including the PTO clutch and the drive belts and all that stuff, and we'll give this thing a whirl here in just a minute. All right, y'all, we're gonna pull this thing out of the garage. Hopefully I put the PTO and the drive pulley back on, and we should be good, hopefully. Again, we have to do the standard. I gotta sharpen the blades, align the deck, and give it one more good general cleaning. But I think, and we got to give this thing a run, but I think we can run and cut grass with it. So, or at least the blades work and the drive works. So let's see. Like it's idled a little low, but we can fix that as well. Still smoking a little, that's all right.
of grass underneath that deck. That's crazy. I'm gonna make sure nothing's loose underneath there, and then I'm just gonna, I guess, let the blades do their magic. I don't know, knocking all that stuff out of there. So crazy stuff. It does run. I do see that it smokes just a tiny bit. We'll see if that clears up over time. Again, though, it runs like a top, though, and it starts right up. So. That muffler makes it really quiet, too. All right, I'm going to see if I can clear those, make sure there's nothing crazy going on with the blades, and then I'll give y'all a better demonstration. I knew they were cutting with thick grass. I didn't realize they were cutting with that thick of grass. Well, here it is. We have shined it up a little bit, and I forgot to clean underneath the hood, but I think I showed y'all it looks exactly like it would if, I mean, nobody would know. The average person would not know that this engine has been replaced. Like I said, I will disclose it. I need to give it a quick cleaning, but kind of run out of time for today. Cleaned up fairly well, especially for the amount of hours that it has on it. It's really not in that bad a shape. The only cosmetic issues I really have are the tear in the seat right here. The seat's a little discolored and got a little bit of mildew on the top of it. But everything else cleaned up fairly well. Had to level the deck. I put new blades on it, and it's, I mean, it's what it needs to be, actually, honestly, for what it is, a 466 hour machine. Turned out really nice. I'm glad I finally got to this. I've been wanting to get to this for weeks and weeks now, and just needed a good day to do it, and earlier this week was the day to do it. So let me know what y'all think. I do need to put a little ATF in the front tires, which I will do tomorrow as well, and we'll just see what happens with it. I think I'm going to list it for $12.50. I think that's very fair for this machine. People are going to eat this all up because of a 48-inch deck, John Deere E140, a little over $1,000, or right around $1,000. They'll eat it up. So that's everything on this one, guys. I did take the engine block out and I shook it, and you can just hear the crunch that happened inside there. That's some crazy stuff. I've never seen a piston like half at an angle inside of a mower engine before, so that's something new. But good news is I had this one in the shed. Runs excellent. Let me crank it up for you. Quiet, no exhaust leaks, mower deck's quiet on it, new blades, the mower deck's level. Like I said, if I didn't advertise that I had changed the engine on this, nobody would ever know, honestly. So that's it for this video. I hope y'all enjoyed it. It really wasn't too hard. It was just basically a day's work. The most time-consuming part about it was just switching all of the components off of the old engine that was on this machine onto this engine that's now on it to make it look all original. So that was the most time-consuming part about it. And again, the hardest part was really getting the pulleys and the belts back on the bottom. But we did that. It runs good, it cuts good, the deck's level. There's not a lot of rust flaking off of it or anything. And really the only thing that hurts it is the number of hours on it with 466. But somebody will hop on this and think that it may have like 166 hours on it. It doesn't drive anything like a 400 some hour box store John Deere. It's kind of odd because that L110 that I had a bunch of hours on it, but it still drove great. Funny thing is, I can probably sell this all day for anywhere between about $1,100 and $1,250, and I've got an X300 with 100 hours sitting over there that I can't get that for hardly around here. It's ridiculous. So, you know, this mower was about $2,800 new. That mower was about $3,800 new, or is now. And like I said, they're about the same. They're actually at about the same price point nowadays, and just the price difference is just incredible. Nobody will pay money for a true John Deere because they can get these at the box store, and they see the cost savings and don't really care about the longevity, I guess. Anyways, that's my rant being over, and I do appreciate y'all watching this video. We've got a lot more content coming up every Wednesday and Sunday. I'm just looking at them now. I've got an RX-75 John Deere, got an Easy Go golf cart 2020 model that is down for the count, waiting on a back-ordered part, and that's not fun. And a few other machines. Hopefully I'll be getting to a Cub Cadet here before long as well, and whatever else comes into the garage. So y'all watched me for 6.5 years. I appreciate y'all continuing to watch me as the channel grows, and have taken this full time. It's been really good here at the end of the first month of taking it full time. No regrets so far. So thanks again, y'all. I appreciate y'all watching, and catch you on the next one. Take care.